Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today I'm going to talk to you about 90 Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 15, Call of the Wild. Now, some calls were wild, I guess you can say, and some people are just wildin', okay? But anyways, on this episode, we have Niles and Matilda, Vanja and Bozo, okay? Brian and Magda. We have Sunny, Veah, and Rory. Loren and Faith, and Joe and Magda. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. But first, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Everyone also hit that like button. And if you subscribe for a while or A1 Day Ones, we're all family. Hit that like button for me too. And let me know what you think about this couple, or these couples, I should say, this episode. And please, can we get the tell all? We're already on episode 17. Tell all, tell all, tell all. All right, let's get started. So let me start with, I'm going to start with Joe and Magda first. So Joe, to me, is the forever frat boy. All right, so today they're going to go visit Magda's hometown. And even though the night before in last episode, Joe met Magda's friends, but he also found out some information about Magda, that this is not the first time that Magda's got herself in a relationship with somebody from another country, because she's in Poland, I believe, that, you know, they felt like she was moving too fast and that she wanted to go move with the boyfriend in their country and leave everything she knew, you know, pack up, leave her career, leave her semi-pro professional volleyball. And so Joe, when he heard this information, he was like, I wonder if she's doing the same thing for me. You think? Because what we heard before you even went over there, excuse me, was that Magda quit her job as a corrections officer. And she told you, Joe, that she wanted to move to the States and get pregnant right away, be a stay-at-home mom, just the whole white picket fence thing. And you're like, yeah, let me go see who Magda is. She could be my fairy tale. I mean, there's a 10-year age difference with this couple. To some people, age is nothing but a number. But in this case, Joe, the forever frat boy, mixing and mingling with Magda, who he learned from her friends now that this is what she does. Now he's finally having second thoughts about maybe he's jumping a little bit too fast, and maybe Magda is trying to attach herself to get that green card. So today they're in her hometown, and so she's showing him around. And, you know, he makes this comment about the colorful decor of the houses and just of the market, things like that. He goes, oh, this reminds me of IHOP, because you know the color of IHOP, which is not sponsored, by the way, is like blue and white. So some of the outdoor marketplace had blue and white decorations or painting or whatever it was, you know, and he just made that comment. I'm like, that is so ignorant. You know, that sounds like that's something that Veah would say. Y'all remember her Apple Pay, tried to Apple Pay some pineapple? Yeah, same deal. But anyways, Joe said that he wanted to cook dinner for Magda when they were shopping for groceries. And I like a man that could cook, so I think that was a nice gesture for him to do. And he did say in confessional that, you know, that's the way for him to show his love for somebody, that's his, you know, what do you call that? That's his love language, to cook for somebody. And, you know, after they get the groceries, they do end up cooking. He does end up cooking for her. And the dinner didn't go as planned because Joe was telling confessional this whole time. Once again, things might be moving too fast. He still has that ex-boyfriend from Germany on the mind. And, you know, he wants to slow down. He doesn't want to be bothered with having a messy divorce after getting married to someone he don't really know. So he actually brought his thoughts out to Magda. And she's looking at him like, what are you talking about? You told me that we're getting married. Now, you don't have to propose today, but that's the goal. And so she did say that she wasn't also expecting anything to happen right now. But at the same time, when Joe pushed her on the issue of, so why did you just break up with your boyfriend? Is it because of, just didn't work out, or you found something better, or whatever the case may be? She said, well, she wanted to go move with him real quick to Germany because she didn't want to be in a long distance relationship. So what better way to not be in a long distance relationship is to be with your man, right? And so Joe thought about that. He goes, that's kind of a good idea. That didn't dawn on me. But at the same time, he's still talking confessional, like, need to slow this down. And then the look on Magda's face and the things that she's going to say for next week's episode, I mean, that just says right there what she is really about. Because she's like, you know what? I expected him to propose so that I can move to America, get that green card. Mic drop. That's all he needs to know right there, in my opinion. All right, so let's go up to Brian and Ingrid. So when we pick back up with this couple, they had fell out. Well, really, Brian fell out. It wasn't really Ingrid, because Brian is upset that Ingrid walked away after meeting with one of his friends, also named Brian, that he had 3 ex-wives. 1 is still pending. He's been married for a time, but 1 still won't file the divorce papers, and 3 fiancés. So that totals 7, right? And so Ingrid didn't know this information. She's like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know what was going on. And so she decided to get up and leave the cocktail or dinner, whatever they're having. I don't blame her. Brian has always given her some extra information as time has gone on, like his lifestyle, how he actually ended up in a wheelchair. And I mean, these are his stories. He's telling it. And Ingrid's just like, you know what else are you going to bring to the table? And so now Brian is upset that Ingrid just like, how could she walk away? Because she's tired of your lies. Matter of fact, she's probably tired of you. So the next day we see Ingrid and Brian separately. Ingrid's walking along the beach and she's saying how, she was unsure of the relationship. She's unsure about Brian. She keeps learning new information every time. Like, what would happen if she did decide to be with him and, come to America, marry him, all this other stuff? Like, what else does she have to worry about? I'm like, girl, you can have to worry about everything all the time, as far as I'm concerned, and to look over your shoulder. Because can you honestly believe that Brian is telling you the truth about his lifestyle and all these different things? Because he's known you for this long, like a couple of years or at least a year. And now he's dropping all this in your lap? Starting with the ex-wives and one who won't sign the papers, who lives in your same town? No. So when we see Brian, he's at his hotel or whatever room he's renting, and he's making breakfast, and he's talking to production about Ingrid, how he's saying, oh, I don't think that she's with me for the right reasons, and just playing the woe is me card. He's saying that he doesn't feel comfortable. He has his nerves who don't feel comfortable. Okay, you know about her. You met her family. You met her son. I don't know if you met both the sons, but you met her son. And you think that she's using you? Now, when the very beginning, when I first saw their storyline play out, I'm like, I think she likes him, but I think she also may want to come to America. I still say that the majority, maybe not all, have the agenda of coming to America for the quote unquote better life, right? But Brian seriously has his nerve. Okay. And what's next? How many kids you have? Because we haven't heard that yet. You talk, like I said, you talk about your lifestyle growing up. You talked about how you went from point A to point B, all these people that you've met, and your ex-fiancés and your current ex-wives. Mystery, Brian. So when Brian and Ingrid meet up, and actually Brian said he was going to call Ingrid, but Ingrid decided to call him first to set up this really last-ditch meeting, I guess. And so Brian is just determined to tell Ingrid that, listen, I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't think that you really like me. I think you're here for the green card. Just everything I just mentioned, right? And Ingrid's looking at him like, you have your nerve. Like, you telling me all these things, you have reservations about me? Hello. You know what? Matter of fact, hold on. I got something for Brian. Brian, where is it at? Hold on, y'all. I'm going to find it. This is for Brian right here. Go somewhere with that, Brian. Go somewhere real quick. Don't look back. Ingrid, run as fast as you can. You'll find somebody else who wants to be with you for you or whatever you need it to be. All right, let's move on from that. So let's jump into Vanja no Bozo. So Vanja spoke with her cousin last episode and told her cousin that, hey, you know what? Since things didn't work out with me and Bozo, I'm going to go ahead and maybe book my flight to come back home because there's really no reason for me to stay here because the person I thought I was going to be with don't want to be with me. But her cousin said, no, girl, you need to go ahead and stay for your whole entire trip. I mean, it's paid for, so you might as well enjoy it. Get back on that dating site and see if you can find someone the same way you found Bozo, pretty much, right? So Vanja decided she's going to do that. So when we see Vanja on this episode, she has met, what's his name? Josko. And I'm not pronouncing it right. I'm doing my best. Okay. She met a Josko, and Josko versus Bozo. Listen, Bozo, just give him a description. Short, skinny, not muscular at all. You know, could use a haircut or whatever. Versus Josko, tall, like a bodybuilder type. So no comparison, right? So Vanja met Josko on the dating app. So they meet up, and she's actually riding in his car. I'm like, you don't even know this man? I would have met you somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You just can't trust certain things like that at all. You know what I'm saying? But she put her trust in it. They go out for an activity. They go kayaking at the beach, but all the way right into the beach, Vanja was looking like, I mean, her what was I gonna say? Her ears perked up. She was rosy in the face. Listen, she had sparks flying. Regardless, she was very attracted to Josko, and along the way, Josko said he was attracted to her too. But Vanja, what I say, just like every little scene, just like she kept, looking at him from her glasses and just like sizing him up and down. Listen, Vanja, she knew that she was going to be with somebody or do something regardless, because that's what she came on this trip for somebody out. Okay, so anyways, as they're kayaking, Vanja and Josko, they're connecting, they're laughing, they're vibing. He said that she's his type, and he likes her energy, versus Bozo, who didn't like Vanja's energy, said she was too much. After they came out the water, she had to put a towel in front of Josko because things was happening on his package or whatever. And he said, oh, you see my excitement. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, we didn't have to see your excitement, production. But anyways, Vanja was like, I'm not peeking. And then, you know what? They both had a romantic spark on the beach, which led to Vanja inviting him to her house. I'm just like, girl, I understand you are, trying to have a good time on your vacation. Understand that you were trying to, maybe fill the shoes of Bozo, but I don't think you should be as out there. It's coming across desperate. It really is. I know she's trying to have a good time, but it's definitely, hi, my name's Desperate Vanja, right? So when they get to her house, she orders food and they get to talking, and Josko said that he was a foster dad. He's to a 1-year-old. And Vanja says in confessional that, you know what, she's not opposed to being a stepmom, but how is it going to work during a long distance relationship? She don't want things to happen the same way they did with Bozo. And at the same time, how is he, this new love interest, going to have a long distance relationship with a 1-year-old? So, I mean, I guess if it was really true, you make it work. But I mean, you don't even know this man. You about to jump in the bed with him. And so sometimes those dating apps lead to dates, leads to one-night stands, and that's it. So, but I wouldn't even be thinking about no stepmom right now. I mean, that is a little too much. All right, let's move to who is next. Sunny, Veah, and Rory. So back to the merry-go-round of Veah and Sunny. Sunny is telling Veah that he wants to apologize to Rory for coming across, talking to him, in his words, talking rubbish. He said that Rory don't know him and he just really wants to make a good impression. Versus Veah, who says that she still wants Sunny and Rory to be friends, but Sunny is like, you know what? If you want us to work, even though he wants to apologize to Rory, you need to leave him at home so we can build our relationship. Now, Veah said something, and I'm going to give her just a little bit this time because I'm not normally on Team Veah at all. But Veah said, now that I know you, I'm more comfortable being with you alone, staying with you. And you know what? I get that point, being comfortable, but at the same time, maybe you should have went somewhere perhaps neutral instead of in their home country if you want to feel just a little bit more comfortable. And on top of that, you have production with you who probably won't, and I'm sure the security team, they probably wouldn't let anything happen to you unless, you went out of their sight. And I'm not saying that they would, but if something happened out their sight that they weren't there for, that's different. But I understand what she's saying. And then about feeling safe. And then Veah said that she understands Sunny's point. I mean, how many times do they have to go back and forth with this merry-go-round? And said that she will text Rory and tell him, it's okay now. You could go ahead and go home. And Sunny was like, I appreciate that, right? So when Veah texts Rory and Rory texts back, Rory was like, yeah, I'll book my flight to go home in a couple days. I'm like, in a couple days, Veah's going to be coming home with you too. Okay, because by then the entire trip was over. But I guess no one picked up on that between Veah and Sunny. Well, later, Rory, I call it the throuple. Veah, Sunny, and Rory go out on safari tour. And is it just me, or was Veah acting like the pineapple thing, with Apple Pay on the safari? She was just acting like real fill in the blank. Okay. Anyways, Rory did, what's her name? Sunny did end up apologizing to Rory. I'm sorry, it's a throuple. And they just seemed like they just all together one mesh. Apologize and saying that, I'm really here for Veah. I love her. And, I want her to be happy and, just go on in the relationship. But you know what? I just think that until Veah and Rory make it known with each other that they truly aren't still have this friendship that straddles the line where it could go either way since they were once a couple. I don't know if it's really going to work. And I say that from Veah's point of view because she was so adamant of having, no, I'm not going to tell Rory to go home. No, I want both of you. No. And then when Sunny puts his foot down, I want you. So she bends for Sunny. So I really don't believe this whole Veah and Rory thing. I do believe that Sunny feels like he's in a solid relationship with Veah, but yet at the same time, he knows in his heart is rocky when it comes to their relationship between Veah and Rory. That's why I call it a throuple. The lines are very blurred here. Like the song Blurred Lines. That's what it's giving to me. One thing, though, that Veah is giving the Tigerlilly kind of thing is where women who go to a different country or women who go to or with a man who is into a particular religion where women can't dress, talk, or do certain things and they want them to conform. I don't get Veah as conforming to Sunny's religion, even though he says his family is very into the religion. They're by the book. I mean, he knew about Veah when he was with her. She's got tattoos and piercing, things like that. And now you all of a sudden want her to change. I think Veah should have did her research too, but I think Sunny should have been very upfront and honest with her. And if she wanted to continue the relationship, then she would have, knowing all these things instead of throwing it at her last minute. So anyways, all right, that's enough of that. Moving to Loren and Faith. Listen, Faith gets what Faith gets now. You know what I'm saying? Because Loren has showed who he was this whole entire episode, this whole entire season so far. Well, apparently Faith is upset once again about Loren's behavior. Now, Loren and Faith and her friends went out to a drag club the night before. When Faith went off to use the restroom, her friend said that Loren was flirting with people, whether it be drag queens or whoever else was in the audience watching the show. And Faith got upset, and Loren, of course, denied it. So now the next day, they meet back up to talk about what happened, talk about feelings, mainly Faith's feelings, because Faith is the only one who's having their feelings hurt. Loren's feelings aren't hurt. He don't care. Loren has his own agenda. All right. So Faith is saying how, I'm still upset about you flirting with other people. My friend saw you. And so I was wondering last week when we talked about it live, that what happened between Loren's friend seeing things and we see Loren and Faith again, because we didn't see that. But on this episode, production showed Loren standing outside talking to a group of people, or they were talking to him, and he said that someone came up and said, "Hey, my friend thinks you're cute." He was like, "Oh, it was this girl." The guy came up and it was a girl in a striped shirt or something like that. And he said, "I told you that I'm here for you. I'm not into cheating." And he said, he told them, he goes, "Listen," he said called them kids. He goes, and he put his hand over their cheek like that, like, "You're too young. I'm in a committed relationship." And I'm like, if you thought they were young, whether they were of age or not, why are you touching people? Why are you giving the impression like touching their cheek? You didn't touch their shoulder or nothing like that instead, but that was kind of like an intimate touch. You don't even touch Faith like that. And so Loren was like, if I wanted to cheat on you, I could, he said, but I don't want to. He said, I want to go home with a ring on my finger. And Loren, he is just telling Faith the dream. Faith knows in her heart that he's not telling the truth, because Faith has brought up yet again. She said, well, you know what? The same things you're doing in the States, you could do them here, as far as like the STIs he was having and had and tested, things like that, to prove he was clean, and just the different back and forth and just the cheating and the dishonesty. That's the word I'm looking for, that Loren was having in the States that he brought here to Faith. But if Faith truly believes that Loren has stopped, all right, I have a river out here in the Las Vegas desert that we selling land for. Okay, I got you. All right, but you know what? It's the plain in the face for me. Is Loren playing in her face, in Faith's face, and is Faith talking in confessional like she wants to do something about Loren and his unfaithfulness, but then since she wants to be loved so bad, she's putting up with all this? I can't. I simply cannot. All right, finally, let's move to Niles and Matilda. So today, Niles and Matilda are getting their things together for the wedding, the knocking ceremony. And let's just go back in time a week ago, but Matilda's finding out today that Niles has lost his job. He gave her his last $100, which isn't going to go far in getting the wedding dress or his outfit he needs to wear or any food. And now they have to ask Mr. Ack for some money to help financially. And Matilda had to ask her brother for a loan to help out getting her wedding garments. Now, is it me, or does Matilda's face look more and more strained and stressed and upset, but she's trying to hold it in to get the green card to marry Niles for the better life in America? Okay, so, I mean, listen. Niles has told some untruths along the way that we've uncovered, and Matilda's told some untruths too, but Niles is ready to put those things in the past. so is Matilda, so that they can get married. Now, I do believe that Matilda, because she's already told her friends and family before Niles got there that, hey, I'm marrying this American guy. We're going to have this big old party. We're going to do this and do that. I think she has a safe face. I do believe she's very embarrassed because Niles can't provide none of that. And again, that's part of the face that she has too, like disbelief, but I'm going to hold it in anyway. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. Moving on, I'm just going to jump to Niles. Now, he ends up calling his parents to let them know and give him the courtesy, that's what he says, that they're getting married. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. That's a good thing to do. During the conversation, we only hear Niles' part, but Niles is very respectful when he calls his family. He says mother, he says father, and the mom puts father on the phone, and that's who the conversation is mostly with. And Niles explains that he's getting married, and he just want to let them know. And then, like I said, you can't hear the conversation, but we hear Miles saying, well, I've known her for 2 years. He's like, so what am I supposed to wait, 20? He goes, I know what it is that I want to do in my life. He said, she's been very honest and very upfront with me. It's been 2 years. This is the woman I love and I'm going to marry. And then Niles says, rational, what is it that I'm saying that's irrational to you? Right? So, and then Niles is like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm going to get married anyway. So the conversation was very contentious, even though we didn't hear the father's part, but you can tell that Niles was upset. He even said to production he was upset after he got off the phone, and it took a lot for him because you could tell he wanted to have an outburst of some sort, right? Whether it be crying or just like they're not listening to me. He just said he really wants his family support, and he said he feels that his parents would like Matilda if they got a chance to talk to her. Even he's already here in Ghana. He's going to marry her. He's there in person. Just give her a chance. And so him not getting that support is really upsetting him. The family, like I said, feels that she's scamming for a green card. And it's possible. Maybe not scamming, but just wanting the green card. Like I mentioned, for a better life. Some people actually do want that. And if it's okay with Niles, whether you choose to believe it forefront or not, then it's just okay with Niles. I just feel that Niles should have got his stuff together before he came over to Ghana. With him losing his job, I think now that I'm listening to conversation, so maybe when the dad said, and Miles responded, but what part isn't rational? Maybe they know already about Niles losing his job, whether he was terminated or he quit. The point is, he don't have a cash flow anymore. So how is he going to carry a roof over his head or pay rent, pay bills? Does he have a car or whatever? So he's going to get married, bring someone back. Bring him back to what? To what? So that's possibly what the rational piece of the conversation came with. But again, I applaud Miles for calling his parents and giving them the courtesy to let them know that he's going to marry Matilda and come back a married man. Now, later in the evening, Niles and Matilda are laying in the bed, and he's telling Matilda about the conversation that he had with his dad. And Matilda is upset because she's like, what type of support am I going to have when I come to America? I'm not going to know anybody. I'm just going to have you. My mother's not going to be there. Like, what's going to go on? Matilda is used to a family dynamic where, there's family around everywhere, and she has support if she needs it, in her community. And look at Mr. Ack. He's in their community too, and not even related. So that's just what you do, right? And so Niles said, well, as long as you have me, we have each other, you won't be lonely. But come on, Niles, what she's talking about. It takes more than just you and her. She is looking for that family dynamic too, which is something that Niles doesn't have with his family at the moment. So maybe things will get better as time goes on. But I feel for Niles when it comes for his family and the lack of support. All right. So let's see. Next, that was the end of the episode. Thank you all for watching. But next week, Tigerlilly is cooking for Adnan and his family for Thanksgiving. Okay, is it Thanksgiving American or Thanksgiving somewhere else? I don't know. And is giving the energy she can't cook. And then Loren and Faith have a date or date night where Loren looks like he wants to give Faith a ring. I mean, if anybody is scamming, it's Loren. Okay, I said what I said. And then we have Joe and Magda. Joe is having more second thoughts about his relationship, as he should. I think he just needs to go ahead and come on home and maybe if you want to have a relationship, keep it long distance and see if she's really into you for you, Joe. And then we have Niles and Matilda, but mainly Niles goes to talk to Mr. Ack to tell him that, hey, I need some financial assistance to help with the wedding. And Mr. Ack is like, oh, you don't have enough money to get married? And Niles should have told Mr. Ack that the first time. Oh, and that's another reason why I think that Niles was calling his family to maybe get, a couple more $100 to help out, but they don't support it. So there's the answer there. Sunny and Veah. Veah meets Sunny's dad, and Sunny's dad is asking her, is she going to convert to Muslim? And then Brian and Ingrid, and they meet back up again somehow. Maybe Brian's coming home, and Brian act like he's made a bad decision of, I don't know what he's said to Ingrid, but whatever, Brian, you need to go ahead and come on home too. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share. And until next time, everyone, live simply, be grateful.